Hey people, I have a third one for you today, also found in chapter 3 of the book of Judges, and it's one verse spoken about one man, and it's quite a crazy thing. His name was Shamgar, and in one verse it describes this man. It simply says that Shamgar killed 60 Philistines with the goad, with an ox goad, that thing that they put around an ox's neck. He was obviously a powerful man. But in one event, he turned the nation of Israel around. Only one verse about this guy. The nation of Israel had obviously once again followed foreign idols and were worshipping. And this one man, with one event now, came and turned the nation around. He picked up this ox goad, probably the only thing that he could find, and he says, this will do. Because it's not about this ox goad that I can achieve the will of God. It's about the power of God within me to use this ox goad to achieve what God wants me to achieve. The power of one man we spoke about yesterday, and today the power of one event to turn you, your family, your company, your country, your community around. One event. But it begins with you. I remember for me that one event being when I was about 13 years old and hearing the gospel presented in a particular way. And I remember going forward in that meeting and giving my life to Christ. I was only 13 years old. I wasn't an axe murderer. I wasn't a gangster. I was just a normal 13-year-old kid. And yet I look back on that day, that one event. There's not a day that I have lived since that event that has not been affected by that event. Every day I've lived since then has been affected by the choice I made to follow Christ. Just one event. It's true in history. That one event of Christ dying upon the cross changed everything. One event in history changed the whole course of humanity upon the world. Just one man and one event. Maybe today you need to look back on your life and say, well, what is the one event thing that I've had? Maybe it's still to come when you commit your life to Christ, or maybe it's when you really dedicate yourself out of the lethargy of some form of Christianity that is out there, to say, today's the day, this one event. I'm going to put this down in my diary as the day that changed everything. One event, one day, sometimes one person. But here's an interesting thing. Sometimes that event can be a traumatic one. And God sometimes uses the traumatic events in our lives to shape us and to make us who He wants us to be. Sometimes we've often said, have we not, that the worst thing that ever happened to you can sometimes be the best thing that ever happened to you when you look back in retrospect. I look back on my life since I've become a Christian, and some of the events that have shaped me have not been nice ones. And I've resented them, and I've been angry about them, and I've questioned them. But you know what? I'm an old man now. I look back and I say, some of the worst things that ever happened to me turned out to be the best things that ever happened to me, because I understand the power of God's providence and the power of retrospect. So when we go through tough times, think about this. Think about the fact that God is able to use the worst event in your life to become the best event in your life, but you just don't know it yet. You will look back on the sadness of that trauma, the sadness of that loss of a business, that sadness of the loss of a farm, that sadness, the loss of, whatever. But you will lose something, but wait and see. Time will tell where God is showing you by His providence the worst thing that ever happened to you becomes the best. Have a look at Jesus. Worst thing that ever happened to Him was what? He died upon the cross. But for us, the best thing that ever happened to us was Jesus dying upon the cross. So have a look back on your life. Don't resent the tough things, because they may just turn out, if you do it well. If you do it badly, you're in trouble. But if you respond well to those things, the worst thing that ever happened may just become the best thing that ever happened, but you'll only know it down the line. I hope that's going to be true for you. I'm pretty sure it will. I have personal experience of that. Trust me. Okay, have a great day, you people. It's freezing cold out here. I need to get inside. Okay, have a fantastic day. Bye.